Have you ever noticed how a few people seem to amass wealth effortlessly, while most barely scrape by paycheck to paycheck, regardless of their salary? It might surprise you, but true wealth isn't about your paycheck size. It's rooted in time-proven principles that have guided fortune builders for millennia. Think about the Jewish community. They have weathered expulsions, pogroms, and devastating financial crises across history, yet repeatedly managed to secure and grow their resources from one generation to the next. What's their edge? They adhere to 7 financial rules that run counter to the mainstream advice you hear every day. These guidelines are battle-tested. They have produced more millionaires per capita in this country than any other group. Figures like Warren Buffett and Mark Cuban credit these tenets, and you're about to learn exactly what they are. But first, here is the uncomfortable truth. Most people are violating these rules at every turn, which is why 78% find themselves living paycheck to paycheck. That scenario is going to change right now. The first principle: live below your means. Observe those who always have surplus cash versus those perpetually chasing their next payment. They don't earn more, they just spend less. This tenet contradicts modern society's push to inflate your lifestyle as your income grows. It isn't about hoarding every penny or living like a hermit. It's about exercising total control over each dollar you earn. Warren Buffett, one of the wealthiest people alive, still resides in the same house he purchased in 1958 for $31,500. He could afford any mansion, yet he grasps this fundamental truth: flaunting wealth doesn't create it, discipline does. Ancient wisdom puts it simply: one is truly rich who is content with what he has. It's not the status symbol that counts. It's the peace of mind when the bills hit your inbox. That is the difference between commanding your money and being chained to it. Here is a practical rule of thumb: cap your spending at no more than 70 to 80% of your take-home pay. The remaining 20 to 30% must be treated as sacrosanct. Dedicate a portion to building your savings, earmark another slice for investments, and hold the rest for emergencies. Sounds daunting? Run an exercise right now. Pull your bank records from the past 3 months and mark every non-essential purchase in red. That daily $6 coffee habit? It tallies up to $180 each month. Unused streaming services? $50 more. Those spontaneous retail trips? Add $300. Suddenly, $500 to $600 are slipping away every month with zero return. That alone is enough to establish a safety cushion or begin investing in diversified assets like the Standard & Poor's 500 index. The gap between those who build generational wealth and those trapped in the paycheck treadmill isn't in the headline expense, it's in the minor leaks that go unnoticed. The secret isn't to eliminate all enjoyment and retreat to a monastic life. It's to spend deliberately on what matters to you. If you crave travel, trim costs elsewhere and funnel funds into your adventures. If you appreciate fine dining, scale back on wardrobe splurges so you can savor those meals guilt-free. The real issue isn't spending money, it's squandering it without direction, purpose, or self-control. By living below your means, each purchase becomes a mindful decision rather than a reflexive action. You transition from slave to your impulses, into the architect of your financial destiny. This principle alone lays a solid groundwork, because saving aggressively won't matter if you fall into a trap most people accept as normal but is, in reality, the greatest stealth assassin of wealth disguised as convenience. The second money rule: shun debt whenever possible. Let me be candid. In traditional Jewish teachings, debt is tantamount to servitude. As the proverb states, the borrower is servant to the lender. If you've ever owed money to a bank, you know that sense of entrapment all too well. In ancient Jewish law, even charging interest on loans within the community was forbidden. Why? Because profiting from someone's hardship was viewed as fundamentally wrong. Credit cards, personal loans, and car loans keep millions trapped in debt loops that feel impossible to escape. For Jewish households, owing money isn't merely a fiscal hazard, it's a spiritual burden. Debt steals your freedom, limits your options, and even disrupts your sleep. Remember, when you owe, you're not truly working for yourself. You're working to satisfy your creditors first, hoping there's something left over. Here's the cold, hard truth. The average American over 40 carries more than $6,000 in credit card balances, often at 20% or higher interest. That's like sinking into financial quicksand. By contrast, many in Jewish communities follow a save first, spend later philosophy. They often shun auto loans, opting instead for dependable used cars they can pay for outright. Ready to break free? Begin by listing every debt you owe: a note, the outstanding balance, the interest rate, and the required minimum payment for each. Simply seeing your entire debt picture at once eases anxiety and gives you a concrete plan. Next, tackle the avalanche approach. Concentrate extra payments on the debt with the highest interest while keeping all other accounts current. Then comes a crucial move: sever the supply. If credit cards tempt you, freeze them in ice or cancel them altogether. Switch to debit or cash until you regain control. Meanwhile, build a $1,000 emergency cushion so unexpected expenses don't force you back into borrowing. There's nothing wrong with caution. In fact, it's a virtue in Jewish tradition. True financial freedom isn't just about accumulating cash, it's about owing no one. But escaping debt is only half the journey. The other half, own that most Americans ignore until it's too late, is lifelong learning. Money rule number 3. Make education your top priority. Jewish communities are celebrated for resilience, and it's not luck, it's a mindset. One of their most powerful financial principles is this: never stop learning. In Jewish law, teaching wisdom trumps handing out cash. As the Talmud teaches, if you give someone money, you support them for a day. Teach them wisdom, and you support them for a lifetime. Here's the danger. After 40, many assume they already know enough about money. Yet financial ignorance comes at a steep price. Research shows that those over 40 are prime targets for scams and poor retirement decisions. Few actively study personal finance after their 30s. Early Jewish immigrants in the 1900s often endured grueling labor, but made education non-negotiable for their children. Within a generation or two, families rose into professions like law, medicine, finance, and entrepreneurship. Today, Jewish American families pour resources into adult education, local seminars, and financial literacy programs. Start small. Dedicate 15 minutes each day to financial growth. Read books such as The Millionaire Next Door or I Will Teach You to Be Rich. Tune into reputable financial podcasts or network with experienced investors. Enroll in online learning platforms or take classes at your community college. The secret sauce? Teach what you learn. Share insights with your spouse, friends, or children. Explaining concepts to others cements your own knowledge and lifts everyone around you. Keep a financial journal to record key lessons each week. Over time, you'll build unshakable confidence and clarity. In Jewish culture, knowledge is portable wealth, something no one can seize from you. But remember, information without action is worthless. The next rule will show you exactly how to put your newfound wisdom into play. Fourth money rule: diversify mercilessly. Centuries before modern markets took shape, ancient wisdom warned against concentrating all your resources in one place. The Talmud advises splitting your capital into 3 equal portions: 1 tied to land, 1 invested in commerce, and 1 held back as a reserve. Today, that means balancing real estate or physical assets, entrepreneurial ventures or market investments, and a cash buffer for emergencies or new opportunities. History has proven this lesson time and again. The 2008 financial collapse wiped out portfolios loaded with property overnight, and the dot-com bust did the same to tech-heavy holdings. Many Jewish American families still follow this timeless framework, owning real estate, running small enterprises or professional practices, and keeping solid cash reserves. The goal isn't chasing the highest yield, it's avoiding a total wipeout. In modern terms, aim for 1/3 in growth assets like stocks and broad market funds, 1/3 in stable holdings such as property and bonds, and 1/3 in liquid cash or money market instruments. If more than 50% of your net worth rests in a single bucket, say your home or your salary, start shifting assets gradually. Test your resilience by asking, if my largest holding plunged by 30% tomorrow, could I ride it out? If the answer is no, you're overexposed. Diversification isn't just smart, it's ancient strategy. In a rapidly shifting world, the most reliable way to stay on an even keel is to spread your strength. But allocating capital only works when you know exactly where it's going, which brings us to a habit almost everyone neglects. Fifth money rule: track every dollar. It sounds simple, yet few people actually do it. In traditional teaching, you're expected to review every choice daily, accounting for each penny you spend. That practice isn't just about numbers, it cultivates discipline, awareness, and intention. Picture your money as a soldier. Without clear orders, it wanders off and vanishes, leaving you wondering why your balance is always zero at month's end. Business owners in many close-knit communities keep impeccable books, even on modest incomes, because they log every expense and stretch every cent. Meanwhile, more than 65% of people forgo any real budget and endure constant financial stress. Choose a method you'll maintain: a simple notebook, a spreadsheet, or budgeting apps, and stick with it. Start with a 7-day money audit. Record every outlay, even that extra espresso. At week's end, categorize spending into housing, food, transport, entertainment, and so on. Then devote 10 minutes each Sunday evening to compare what came in against what went out. Mapping your cash flow lets you reclaim control. It's not mere accounting, it's ownership. And true ownership forms the bedrock of lasting wealth. But here's where most people go wrong. People often believe that accumulating wealth means hoarding every penny for yourself. Rule number 6: give generously and build a strong community. Here's a principle you might not expect. One of the oldest Jewish finance teachings urges constant giving, even when money is tight. But this tradition views generosity not just as kindness, but as a strategic move. In Hebrew, the word for charity is Zedaka, which more accurately translates to justice or righteousness than the charity we think of in the West. As Proverbs teaches, Zedaka rescues one from death. Within many households, giving isn't seen as a loss. It binds you to a support network, keeps you protected, and connects you to something greater. Even those who receive aid are expected to pass it on. Why? Because supporting family, neighbors, or strangers creates a safety net you may one day rely on yourself. Parents often instill this by having children drop coins into a Zedaka box every Friday before the day of rest. When challenges arise, these communities step up, covering medical bills, funding education, or helping businesses get back on their feet. Many in their 40s postpone charitable giving until they earn more. But this approach says start now at whatever level you can. Choose a giving guideline aim for 10% of your earnings, or begin with 2 to 3% and gradually increase. Direct your donations to causes you believe in: religious institutions, food banks, shelters, or relatives in need. Automate your monthly contributions so they become a non-negotiable expense. Involve your family. Let your kids help pick where to give. This shared effort forges unity and instills lasting values. The world pushes you to acquire more, but this wisdom turns that on its head. The more you give, the more connected, and secure you become. True wealth isn't just in your bank account, it lives in your relationships, your legacy, and your community. But giving alone isn't enough. Rule number 7. Plan for the future. Ask yourself, if something happened to you tomorrow, would your loved ones be financially secure? This tradition insists on foresight. Proverbs says, "The wise see danger and prepare for it, while the foolish proceed and suffer the consequences." Real financial peace comes not only from building wealth, but from safeguarding it. For thousands of years, families have established legacies through forward thinking, drafting wills, passing down wisdom alongside assets, and creating strategies that span generations. You don't wait for disaster, you prepare so it never overwhelms you. Some even set up college funds for grandchildren, secure life insurance policies, and purchase burial plots in advance. Yet many delay estate planning into their 40s or beyond, unaware that a single incident can wreak havoc without proper documentation. Get your legal paperwork in order: your last will and testament, durable power of attorney, healthcare directive, and beneficiary designations. Build or update your retirement strategy. Maximize contributions to your individual retirement account and your employer-sponsored retirement plan. Compare projected income to expenses and consider working with a fiduciary financial advisor. Assemble an emergency binder filled with passwords, account details, insurance policies, and critical contacts, and store it in one accessible place for your family. Above all, communicate with your loved ones. Share your plans, your values, and your resources. Preparing for what lies ahead isn't driven by fear. It's an act of love for your partner, your children, and your legacy. When your financial life is in order, you don't just feel wealthy, you feel ready. These 7 rules have supported families for millennia through market crashes, political upheavals, and social change. They endure because they're grounded in timeless wisdom, not fleeting trends. Ultimately, the decision rests with you. You can keep repeating the same actions as everyone else and stay financially strapped, or you can embrace proven teachings that have generated generational wealth for thousands of years. Your journey toward financial freedom begins with your very next choice. So tell me, on a scale of 1 to 10, how highly do these time-tested principles deserve to be rated?